It's not your fault. Let's be clear. It's not your fault this isn't working for you. However, this is your opportunity to have an aha moment and experience more magic and more miracle in your life. My name is Mr. 2020. You're listening to the Power of Imagination podcast, where we explore one thing and one thing only: the power of you, the power of vision, the power of the wonderful human imagination. There's dumb shit you can worship. And when you worship dumb shit, you deny your divinity. And the one we're going to dive in today is going to shock you. I can pretty much guarantee it. Because I talk about sacred numbers or bullshit. It doesn't matter if you use double-sided sticky tape, color, or black and white photos. Your magical mantra isn't going to take away all your money if you do it backwards. The rocks in the sky, the rocks in your pocket, none of that matters. What matters is you are how God has the adventure of a lifetime. And you are God having the adventure of a lifetime. And so my friend asks a question in the group, and when I get a question 3 times in a row, I do a podcast on it. Ready? How many minutes? How many minutes do you spend in the silence? How many minutes do you spend feeling it real? How many minutes? How many minutes will have you waiting? It will have you think about how many minutes will it take for this to change. So minutes get you into thinking. By the way, it's the moments that are magical. Victoria and I hold hands, and there's not a word that needs to be said, and anything uttered is lovely. This brings me to John's post on the lullaby method, and of course we have people talking about the thank you bits, and isn't it wonderful? It's never the words. When the words come from a place where they are spontaneously uttered. I love you. Wow. By the way, you should see the moon. I came outside and went, wow, again. I see my puppy in the garden and I go, oh, that's a spontaneous utterance. You can't script that in. I guess we're going to nail 2 things today. Number 1, people worship words. I'll ask, hey, what's your biggest problem that you have when it comes to this stuff? And people, well, I'm not going to talk about problems. My words have energy. Words have power. No, they don't. You are the power. You are the operant power. Anybody that tells you otherwise is full of shit. And your words simply reveal you. If you have to edit your words, you're editing you. If you have to script your words, you're scripting you. By the way, I was in a relationship once where she had me she required that I say things in certain ways to certain people at certain times. That relationship was certainly over pretty quick. But I digress. Because that's how a lot of people try to manifest. But let's go back to the minutes thing, because now it's time to blow your mind with absolute certainty. I've left up Joseph Goddard to the max.com at $20 off. If you didn't get it, I'm not going to call you a moron. But I'm going to tell you, you're missing out. You're missing out on something huge. And if you're not doing it daily like we teach, you're missing out on your day. The pillow of possibilities beckons you. But I digress. Ready? Here's what you learned as a child. You have to put time in. Minutes matter. How many minutes you spend in the classroom? If you don't spend enough minutes, you don't graduate. How many minutes do you put in at work? The more minutes you work, the more money you make. You having an aha moment? Or are you having one of those, 20, I never thought of it that way before? You were trained to worship minutes. Minutes are the solution. How many minutes do you spend manifesting every day? How many minutes do you spend in the silence? How many minutes do you? How many minutes? Tick tock. Waste of time. On the other hand, how many moments of magic can you simply settle into? With my Joseph Goddard practice, not the good day method, not the, oh gee, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I know 5 to 10, 6 to 11, sometimes 20 events out of a day. If I got a busy day, I nail 20 events. And it's not hard. People say, I don't have the time to do that. That's because you're still living in minute land. And I'm inviting you to where miracles live, in the moment. So let's say you got the pack, or you refuse to listen to it, or you refuse to listen to it. Just do this. Lay on your pillow. At nighttime, feel into a magical moment. That you feel into better yet, at nighttime, when you go to bed tonight, I want you to notice that if there's a minute in your day that bothers you or that blesses you, and I want you to revise that minute into a moment that's even more magical. Just feel into, oh my God, be like, it's beyond words. It will take your breath away. You don't have to even do the breathing technique people get all worried about. But I digress again. Ready? And in the morning, I've got 2 calls today. So if I was going to condense them into one imaginal experience because I'm lazy, I would imagine the moment where I tell Victoria what a great time I had with Jonathan and Beth. They really inspired the shit out of me today. And that's the setting. Here's the scene. Ready? Wow. I'm speechless. Right? I'm just having this experience of overwhelm, where I'm just celebrating. This is what I get to do. For money, for purpose, for breath. There's a moment of magic beckoning. Can you simply surrender into it? I invite you, when you place your head on the pillow of possibilities, to only admit the honorable and the dignified, to have the courage to simply only allow in and to venture forth into the wow, the spontaneous utterance of something that you simply experience as pure joy, happiness, peace, for a specific event of today. So I'm going to give you something in just a moment, but right now, let's take 60 seconds, half a minute, and go into the silence. God, I just took a sip of my coffee and a leaf fell in it. It's still dark here. The moon's high up in the sky, and it's still dark here. And I wake up every day in the dark, and I go to bed every day spent. Right? I don't make decisions when I'm spent, and I don't make decisions in the dark, except for one thing. When I'm spent at night, and when I'm in the dark in the morning, and when my head is on that pillow of possibilities, I imagine having had delivered, right, a fantastic podcast. Something that changes lives, something that gets people into programs. Because you can do this all on your own, or you can join in some fun with us. I would love for you to join remarkable.com. That's joinremarkable.com, one word. And let's scare you off, why not? We asked for a 12-month commitment. That's a lot of minutes. And that should scare some people. Because if you're living in Minuteville, joinremarkable.com with a 12-month commitment is a lot of minutes. On the other hand, you can't imagine the magic that you're missing out on, because you're focused on minutes instead of feeling from moments. At the very least today, if you want to ignore everything else I said, just nail one thing when you go to bed and one thing when you wake up, by surrendering to the sweetness of a magical moment that takes your breath and your words away, so that a spontaneous utterance shows up and changes your life. And if you've never thought of it that way, or if you go, oh, I already know that, but it's not working for me, you're not doing it. And I invite you, once more, to join us and join Remarkable.com. See ya.